Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Inga Cotton. I'm the founder and executive director of San Antonio Charter Moms, and these are Charter Moms Chats. And we've been going live to help families learn information and resources so that they can help their kids get the best possible education in spite of the challenges of the pandemic and just all the necessities of life that keep happening in spite of unexpected changes. So today we're talking about improving parent-teacher communication. And I brought in two different partners who we've worked with before, but I'm really happy to bring them together. So Kelsey Nelson is the senior manager of external relations at Learning Heroes. Thank you, Kelsey, and she's joining us from Washington D.C. So thank you.
Yes, thanks so much for having me. A pleasure to be here with you all.
Yeah, and then we brought back Erica Martinez, and she is the director of engagement and development at Lighthouse Public Schools, and that's here in San Antonio on kind of the west southwest side of town. And she is currently working on her PhD in social work. And Erica's written a couple of posts for us about at-home learning activities that were centered on social emotional learning. So, and we've got links to those in the blog post. So in the description of the video, you'll find a blog post that I wrote about Learning Heroes resources, and it also has links to the social emotional learning resources that Erica has written. So thank you both for being part of this conversation.
Yeah, thanks again for having us.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a whole bunch of questions to ask about, and I encourage everybody to read the blog post, but you can also pick up a lot of great information, hopefully, from this conversation. So my first question is, I'm going to send over to Kelsey, and that is to explain, like, what is Learning Heroes, and like, so what is the mission and vision? And I know we've shared in the past about Learning Heroes. It had to do with getting kids ready for middle school and high school, but if you could kind of take a step back and give us big picture.
Of course, yes. I know my colleague Howard Winchester has been on here before presenting about Learning Heroes. I just want to give a refresher to all the newbies, and also, just to kind of go over the work that we do, because it might be your first time hearing about it. But before I get into that, I just want to say thanks again so much for having me. I feel like I'm in great company. I know a lot of charter schools. I used to work with the National Alliance for Public Charter Schools prior to working with Learning Heroes, and I will say the parents are just always fantastic and love being amongst moms. Even though I'm not a mom, I am Auntie Kelsey to many, so I'm a god mom. So again, just a pleasure to be here. But yes, Learning Heroes, and we're actually called Learning Heroes because that's what we see parents as. We see parents as learning heroes. You all know your children best. And at Learning Heroes, we really see parents as their child's best educational advocate, right? I mean, you are the one that knows your child front and back. And we really work to support and equip parents with tools and resources to help support them in a child's educational and developmental learning. And why we do that is because essentially we believe that sometimes parents aren't always involved in the educational process, and they should be. They should be working hand in hand with teachers. And so we like to say partner up a lot, or team up. And I'll actually be going through one of our resources today that are called Team Up for Success. But we believe when parents and teachers work together, that's one of the strongest tandem. And I will note that when we say parents, we mean any caring adults in a child's life. And how we get here is we actually listen to parents. We do research, qualitative and quantitative, across the country, across the nation, hearing from parents on what they're seeing the needs are for their child. What are the needs in their school? And from those needs, in that research, we work to create free tools and resources, free bilingual tools and resources. And so everything that we create is available in English and Spanish. And we get this out to parents through partnership work. And so we work with a lot of partners. San Antonio Charter Moms is one of our great partners that we work with, because we really want to make sure that we get our tools and resources in the hands of parents. And just to give a little background research, basically we saw that parents don't have a full and accurate picture. And so that's what Learning Heroes works to do, give you all a full and accurate picture of where your child is. Sometimes parents think because they see a child's report card that they have the full picture. And many times a report card is just a showing of a child's effort. It doesn't always fully show where that child is educationally and academically. And so what we've seen from our research is that nearly 9 in 10 parents believe that their child is at or above grade level in reading or math. But unfortunately, in reality, across the country, it's only about 1/3 of students that are at or above grade level. And unfortunately, for our Black and Brown children, that number is even less. So we want to work with parents, of course, to get that number up so that all children can continue to succeed. And we believe that when you have this full and accurate picture of a child's learning, that you're able to better equip them with learning. So this is what we do at Learning Heroes. We provide that picture. We provide free tools and resources to assist children. We partner with school districts and different partners. And this is why we're here today with you all to kind of show and share some of those free tools and resources with you all that I hope you all will utilize for your children's educational learning.
Yeah, when I was first learning about or getting to know Learning Heroes, and I was so impressed with the how it is like parent and caregiver focused, because
Oh,
I feel like
yes.
often in education, parents are left out of the conversation, but they are so central. And if every parent is fighting for what their kids need,
Right.
it helps the system work. Like it brings in so much more energy and attention to the system. So that's why, like,
Exactly.
I'm so like happy to share, and the resources you guys create are so like clear and easy to use and timely with different times of the school year. So
Thank you so much for that.
okay, so
Like you
I'm
said,
gonna
best parents are
put
just
Erica on
very
the
important in that child's educational journey and should be working side by side with schools and with teachers to create academic resources.
yeah, exactly. Okay, so I put Erica up on the big screen because Erica, I want you to talk about a little bit about Lighthouse Public Schools, and but specifically like the reason I invited you to be part of this group is because I know that you do a lot of work with the parents, guardians, caregivers of the Lighthouse families, and things. So I know it's so important to what you bring, not only just the social emotional learning like projects that you do, but so anyway, tell us more about Lighthouse, and tell us about the parent relationships.
Definitely. So, Lighthouse Public Schools is an open enrollment charter over here on the southwest side of San Antonio. And we are fully embracing the community school model, which means that we want to make sure that we are bringing all the community resources here to the school that our families may need. So, most recently, we opened our clothing closet and our food pantry, which we lovingly named Feathers and Seeds because our mascot is the Seahawk. And building off of that, we have also started a program here called The Nest. And the NEST stands for Nurturing Every Student's Successes and Strengths Together. And what we do through that is we provide supportive guidance to the student, but also to the families. So, what we do is we want to make sure that we're looping the family in, and just how you said earlier, that parent is anyone that we deem to be. So, we have been trying to find that term that fits for us. And so, we just refer to it as family or your person. And so we want to link arms with the family and just let them know that we are completely here to support them in any way shape that we can, because we believe in Maslow's before Bloom, right? So we think that we believe that we have to meet that bottom layer of those basic needs of ensuring that our families have shelter, they have access to food, they have access to clothing, they have access to safe living. And so we want to connect them to resources. If a student comes in and they need some uniforms or they need some regular clothes, we're able to walk them right next door to my office and get them some brand new clothes through a partnership here with San Antonio Threads. And then on the other side of that, we have our food pantry, which then is in partnership with San Antonio Food Bank. So we want to make sure all those needs are met. And by doing that, we feel that if we can help to meet those basic needs, then the child will be ready and ready to learn when they walk into the classroom. They're not having to worry about everything else that's going on. And by linking and doing that with the family, then they know that we are here to support them and that we're all in this together.
Yeah, thank you, Erica. I think it's so important what you described about. Wait, let me get my faces organized on screen here. Okay, there we go. Okay, that what you're talking about, like for instance, the family, the person, who's the caring adult, and that Lighthouse has these facilities, these tools, and these partnerships, right? Like with SA Threads and with the food bank, so that it builds connections with the families because they're coming to school to make sure that the basic needs are being met, and that's building up the relationship so that there's that foundation for the academic progress
Right.
to happen as well. So yeah,
We also want
yeah.
to make sure
Okay,
that
well, good.
we can
Okay, well, I wanted to. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. We also wanted to make sure that we provide the supportive guidance to our students, but also to our families, because sometimes we may see something that's coming out in the classroom and it's something that is also happening, a behavior that's happening at home. So then we come together and we come up with the plan, is what we call it. Of this is what we're trying here at school. How could you try this at home? And then let us know how that's working. Or the opposite, the family may have a plan or an idea of what's working at home, and then we try to figure out a way to make that work here in school as well.
Yeah, well, that is, Erica, that's the perfect segue. I mean, that kind of parent teacher or person teacher communication is so important for kids to be able to succeed in school, and that's what Learning Heroes created these tools. So I'm gonna let's see, I'm gonna put Kelsey on the big screen, and then I can also bring in the website. I guess you tell me when it's time, but so okay, so at different times of year, Learning Heroes focuses on what families need right then. And we know that with back to school, and with having been, last year was kind of a disrupted school year. This year is a little bit disrupted too, but that like parents need to know where their kids are at, and they need communication with the schools to get things back on track. And it's also time for parent-teacher conferences. So that's why I feel like these resources are so timely. So if you could tell us more about what the resources are, and actually, yeah, tell me, do you want me to bring it up on screen?
Yeah, you can put our Team Up for Success on the screen. And like you said, that was a perfect segue. And we have different tools and resources that we developed. And to Inga's point, we develop all our tools and resources in a timely manner. None of us could have predicted that COVID-19 would happen and the shift that we had to do in order to get all of us kind of on the same track. And so we developed something called Team Up for Success. We had a summer campaign called Summer Recharge. It was about recharging ourselves and getting ready for the school year that was. But as you can see on the screen, this was actually developed in partnership with the National PTA and Univision. So again, everything that we create, we don't do it alone. We get it from listening to parents and partnering with different organizations. But essentially, it's a suite of free tools and resources for parents throughout the school year. So you can think about it as ongoing communications that parents can access and utilize. And we really developed this because we believe in two-way partnership between families and educators. And also we're hearing from teachers that the number one way for parents to know exactly how their child is doing academically is ongoing communication with the teacher. So again, that's what teachers say, that ongoing communication is the best way for parents to know exactly how their children are doing. So thank you so much for bringing this up on the screen. But one of the first tools and resources that we created was our Dear Teacher letter that was just up. And essentially, if you've ever played Mad Libs, and I know I might be aging myself when I say this, but it was kind of based off Mad Libs, where essentially we created prompts for parents to be able to actually not only introduce themselves, but introduce their child to their child's new teacher this fall. And so you can see it's a PDF, it's editable. So all you have to do is go on our website, fill it in, and at the end, you can actually print it out and give it to a teacher, or you can actually download it, save it, and email it to a teacher. But again, this is a great way because most of us were virtual, our hybrid last year, for your teacher this fall to know exactly not just who your child is, but who you are. And so you can see, you put your child's name, and you get to talk about different things that you all like to do. What activities do you like to do? What are some of your goals for the school year? What is it that the parent wants the teacher to know? Where is somewhere that you need your child to improve that you notice? What is something that they just did really well on? What is something that your child is excited about learning? Again, all of this insight for a teacher is going to be able to help that teacher connect with that student in the classroom this fall. And then you also see at the end, we have a space even for you to put your best contact information. I think sometimes schools assume that email is the best way to reach a parent, and that's not always true, right? Sometimes it might be a phone call. Even now, I've seen schools utilize social media to connect with parents. Again, everybody's different, and it's not a one size fits all. At Learning Heroes, we like to say one size fits one, and so we have the space for that as well. But again, I think why we created this is because we heard directly from parents. Sometimes the reason why they're not talking to teachers is because they don't know where to start. They don't know the words to use. And so we created this prompt for them to be able to kind of have that starting sentence where all they have to do is fill this out and make it for their own individual child. Again, this is something that you create for each child. So if you have two children, you do two different letters for both of your children and give this to your child's teacher in the fall. And then once you email this, the teacher kind of has everything in one easy to read place where they really are able to get a sense of who exactly is in their classroom this fall so that they can create a stronger connection with them. So this is just one of the tools and resources, but it's one that we pushed at the beginning of the school year for parents and teachers to use. So we actually launched this back in August. Another one of our Team Up for Success resources, we have our readiness check. And our readiness check is actually something that's for grades K through 8, where parents are able to get a quick gut check on exactly how their child is doing in the areas of reading and math. And you can see it right there. All you do is click on it, and we say it's like a game. I promise your kids will think it's fun. It's 3 to 5 questions that they fill out. And at the end of the readiness check, they're actually able to see exactly how their child is doing in the areas of reading and math. And then at the end, they get a bunch of activities that they can do to kind of help them get on grade level. And what Inga has on the screen right now is actually our parent-teacher planning tool, which Inga, you can actually keep up because it's perfect timing because that's another one of our tools and resources.
Oh, good.
No worries, because our parent-teacher planning tool is actually coming in handy right now. We're doing trainings with parents on this because October is kind of when parent-teacher conferences start, right? And essentially, our parent-teacher planning tool is actually something that we're recommending parents fill out prior to parent-teacher conferences and have this going into parent-teacher conferences as an aid to guide your conversation. And so you can see on this tool, you can start with what your child is doing well at. What does your child need improvement with? You can help to pinpoint how they're doing in reading and math. And that's actually where our readiness check tool comes in. So you can put exactly how your child is doing there. And you can see we have a space to type notes in here. So all you do is fill it out, type it in again, and then you can print it or download it and give it to your child's teacher. And then we also give you questions to help guide the conversation. What questions should you be asking a teacher in those parent-teacher conferences? Because we really want to utilize maximizing that time. But something that we push at Learning Heroes is that parent-teacher conferences should not be the only time that you're communicating with the child's teacher, right? It's ongoing communication throughout the school year, and this is just one aid for it. We also have an end of the year parent-teacher planning tool that you use at the end of the year, and we have one for the middle of the year, right? So we kind of have ongoing communication where you're able to showcase how your child is doing throughout the school year. And again, this is a free tool and resource, very easy to quickly fill it out, hit email, type your teacher's email in, and it goes right to their inbox. And then, of course, we ask that parents just give the teacher enough time to also respond back in a timely manner. But again, this is a tool that we're really pushing this month because parent-teacher conferences are here. And I think especially because the year that was COVID, I think we all have even more questions about where our child should exactly be this school year. How can I best help my child get to where they need to go so that they can keep excelling on throughout the school year? So that's another tool that we released with Team Up for Success. And then the last tool that I'll mention is our Path to Success tool, which I actually know Howard came on and shared before. But basically, Path to Success is actually a tool that we have for middle and high school parents to really know the benchmarks that their child should be hitting as we try to get all children towards that graduation mark to do whatever they want to do after graduation, whether that be college or trade school or going straight to the workforce. And Path to Success, again, it kind of is really like a path of different things that you should be following. And we really did create this because I think sometimes when parents feel their child gets older, that they don't have as many resources or helps to kind of assist them with their child's journey. So this is specifically created for, again, middle and high school students. You can see that they should know the milestones, know different life skills, how to manage child stress. We know what those teenage years can be like because we all went through those teenage years. It also has information about helping with FAFSA, college credits. What about those AP and IB classes that can also help you save money on college? And so again, this is catered to the middle and high school parent, and they can follow along all these different steps. And you can click on each tool and you can actually see different resources that are there all in one place. And as you can see, our website has information just split on parents and students to be able to follow. And something that's not on that page, but it's on our homepage, is we actually also released an updated version of our anti-racism resource directory. We all know the year that was and what happened after the killing of George Floyd. And we had a lot of parents reach out and say they didn't even know where to start talking with their child about race and racism. And so we created a whole directory and a suite of tools. And I'll be happy, Inga, to put this in the comments as well, where parents can hit, yep, exactly. Inga's so good at our website, and it's good. Our website is super easy to use and navigate for parents to use. But yes, our brand new updated anti-racism resource directory where parents are able to see how to start these conversations, different activities that they can do with their children, and even different book lists that could be great with your children to talk about race and racism and kind of the world that we're living in as we all try to progress towards a better world together. So these are all things that can be downloaded. We do everything digitally and in print to help all parents. And now, before I hand it over to Erica, I'd love to show a quick video that we have that really talks to the essence of the importance of parent-teacher relationships and why we say so much at Learning Heroes, partner up and team up, because that's exactly what it takes, again, to get our children to be successful academically and developmentally this school year. So this video that we're about to show is a quick 2-minute video that we developed in partnership with W1ET that actually follows a parent on his journey with a parent-teacher relationship.
Awesome. Wait, we get our heads back on screen here.
Awesome. There we go.
There
Thank
we
you
go.
so much
Okay,
for
great.
sharing that. But again, just a quick video that
Yeah,
showcased
thank
how a
you.
dad was able to jumpstart a relationship with his child's teacher and create that ongoing communication.
Yeah, yeah. Well, as I was clicking through and getting more familiar with these resources, I really agree with what the dad said about that. Um, like when you communicate with teachers, like you have to get to the point. You have to keep it simple. Like they're super busy, but like they're receptive. They want to be a partner. And I also I know that like for myself, sometimes it can be hard to get started. And like I feel
Right.
like that even me, right? Like I'm a communicator, but there's still times when I avoid things that are complicated, and like the
Right.
Mad Libs format is an invitation to get started, and it also
Right.
reminds parents like teachers need to know not just about like, well, this is where they are in math, but also like like the fact that my son loves like science and space and things like that, right? It
Right.
gives them things to connect on and things to relate, and relationship building. We just had a post recently about why like learning styles are kind of a myth. What really matters is teachers making relationships with the students, and it just takes repeated contact, and talking about shared interests is a really important way to do that. So the research overlaps. This like what works is what works. And this we need to avoid the myths and stick with research based things. That's what's great about Learning Heroes is you guys are studying the research, and then finding good ways to communicate it, and so that it gets it,
Right.
and you work with partners, and like the website is bilingual. You're working with Univision, like it makes it, it gets it to people's hands like at the right time of year when they can take action and make a difference with it.
Correct. Yeah. Thank you so much for the
Okay,
kind
well,
words.
I want to yeah, so I want to bring Erica into the conversation. Let's see this. Let me swap around the heads here. There we go. Erica's on the big screen. Okay. Erica, I know that you've had a chance to play around with Learning Heroes, but I know from talking to you, this is something that you guys care a lot about at Lighthouse is these relationships. And like one thing that like Kelsey mentioned that like social emotional learning is part of sort of the resources that parents need. And I know that's something, I know in your office, like you have a whole row of like sensory bottles that that people can play with, but I know it goes a lot deeper than that. So I'm wondering if you can like, you've already mentioned like nest and feathers and seeds, right, for your Seahawks. But if you can share more like stories and examples of, the work that you do with the students and the caregivers in the Lighthouse community.
Definitely. So we want to make sure that we are always keeping continuous communication with our families, with our teachers, with the staff that we have here at the Nest. And so we do that in a couple of different ways. So first and foremost, when we think about that direct level of communication, we surveyed our families and they said that receiving a phone call, a text, or an email from their child's teacher was first and foremost how they wanted to receive communication, followed by like an app like Class Dojo for our elementary and intermediate students, and the Remind app for our middle school and high school students. So that was the constant way that they were able to just be in the loop about what their child was doing all day. So as we came back this school year, having some of our students that had been home for a year and a half or a year and a quarter, right, depending on how we look at it. And then if we had families that were working from home too, they had all this time where they were under the same roof working and going to school together. In the loop about what's happening. So using Class Dojo and Remind app to send messages. This is what we're learning this week. Here's something that your child has done. One story that I wanted to share was really, for me, I felt it was really impactful for the student because in Class Dojo, the teacher is able to assign coins or like points to the student for doing certain things that they're keep like a reward system. So we had several families that started adopting that reward system at home as well. So it was this carryover. And then when we get involved, we were able to help them create like what is working at home and what is working in the classroom so that the reward system was consistent in both places, so the student and the child was able to understand like it doesn't just end at 4 o'clock when I go home. And so that was really impactful. And then tying back into what Kelsey said earlier, we've recently come into a partnership with Texas A&M University. And so it's a huge opportunity for our students, because we have completely, when we talk about equity, right, we have completely cleared out the path to make a direct link from our high school to a university. And so, I cried tears when that happened, because I believe in the power of education. And as a first generation student, I knew how challenging it was to navigate that transition from high school to college. And so for us to have entered into this partnership is tremendous. And so what we did, knowing that the majority of our students would also be first generation students, we hosted several family nights where we were talking about what this partnership was going to look like. We had the degree plans for the high school and for the university on hand. And we were able to do this overall view and review of what that was. And then we set up one-on-one meetings where we had our superintendent on board, we had our director of curriculum and instruction, and then we had our high school teachers that got to sit with every student and family and run through what this was going to look like for them. So by the end of it, you had families and students who may have never even had a conversation about college, who now were leaving with this wealth of information and understanding the opportunity. And I want to say it was just last week or 2 weeks ago, we took our students. So every high school student, I'm going to go back, every high school student that we have will have opportunity to this. So we're not only focusing on the top 5%, we are making this opportunity available to every single high school student, which is huge. So by the time they graduate high school, they will have at least 2 years at this university under their belt. And we're paying for that. So that is no cost to our family at all. But we took our students down to the university to go do their college entrance exam. And we had a handful of students who were college ready. So we're talking about high school freshmen who are college ready. And so they'll be taking English 1301 and math 1301s, or algebra, I'm sorry. And so I brought them they got pulled up in the parking lot, and I'm high-fiving and hugging them, and I'm everybody, because that's such a huge achievement. But we were able to do that in partnership with the parent, because we also wanted the parent to understand what the student was going to be doing and what that looked like for them. So even going back and explaining what a college hour is, we had one dad who asked, and he says, okay, well, if my daughter's taking a 3-hour class, I'll just wait at the university for the 3 hours while she's in class. So really being able to go back and explain, it's not the duration of the class time, it's the overall plan. And so breaking it down so that they have that information. So making sure that we're communicating the information that's needed so that they truly understand the opportunities that are available to our kids. But those are the two moments that stand out the most for me. When you can have the superintendent do a one-on-one with your family, I think that speaks volumes. And that's what makes us so special and so unique, because we are about building relationships with our students and our families and the larger community.
Erica, what you talked about, basically, like, that's such a great story. Like, I'm getting emotional. I saw the picture on social media of the Seahawks on the Texas A&M San Antonio campus, and like they looked like they were just ready to like run and take off. Like they looked like so happy to be there. And the story you're telling, it demonstrates how building these relationships, right? These, like, parent-teacher relationships. Even I just shout out to Dr. Mills, like superintendent. Like he's just, it's really like so experienced, so dynamic, so caring. But those relationships, that's the key to unlocking the equity issue, right? That if it's these misunderstandings, right? Not understanding, how dual credit works, or how college works. Explaining what a credit hour means, why that's a 3 credit hour class, but it doesn't mean you're going to be stuck in a room for 3 hours. Like, I mean, that's like that's really important stuff. But you've made the parents feel safe to ask those questions, right? And they know that there's caring people who can explain it to them. And that's how we break down these barriers of, that's keeping talented people from, getting access to the education that they need to get ahead.
Yes. And we are, and like Kelsey said earlier, whatever it is that our student has for a goal, whether that's college, career, or military, we are going to help guide you in that direction. So your goal is our goal. We individualize your educational plan for that, and then we're Seahawks, right? So you're in the nest for a little bit, and then you grow your wings and you spread them, and you leave our nest. But that's what we're here for, to build up scholars that can be world ready and world change the world.
So awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to switch around the screens a little bit. Let's see. Kelsey, this is where we kind of get to the action steps. I want each of you to be able to share about that. So, Kelsey, do you want me to bring the screen back up? And what I want you to do is explain to families. Hopefully now they have a sense of what resources Learning Heroes has to offer. So how should they access that? How can they kind of keep in touch? And there's new materials being added all the time.
Yes. So Learning Heroes basically should be your new best friend in your life as you're planning out educational opportunities to do with your child. And so everything's available on our website, again, completely free of charge. As you can see, it's just bealearninghero.org. And our website, you can see, you can even switch the whole website to Spanish, should you choose and should you like, just to make sure that it's accessible to everyone. And the great thing about it is our website is actually split into different audiences. So you'll see we have parents and families, we have one for educators and teachers, and then we also have our research on our website as well. And so, yes, anything that you need to do. So actually, if you hit under parents and families, you'll see all of our different resources for you all to use and utilize. Yep, that one. And you can see all of our different tools and resources that are available in English and Spanish. And if there's any educators out there, we also have a tab for you. And then also, if you're just curious about the research that we do, we have a whole research tab. We actually just released new OST research, so out of school time research, that I highly recommend everyone checking out as well. Again, from listening to parents, we see that parents know the value of out of school time research that we want everyone to kind of know and everyone to share. We're also on social media. So we're on LinkedIn at Learning Heroes US. We're also on Twitter at Be a Learning Hero, and also on Facebook you can go to Be a Learning Hero. So basically anywhere on social media you can also access us and access our tools, but our website by far is the best place to go. And as I said, Team Up for Success will be releasing new tools every month. So I highly recommend just checking back up every month. And also you can get on our parent list that we have, so you have everything delivered directly to your email inbox, just so it's a little bit easier to interact with our different tools and resources. Thanks again so much, Inga.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, let me let's see. I couldn't resist Erica bringing up one of your blog posts, because it's just so beautiful, all the all the sensory bottles. Erica, I was wondering if you could talk more about Lighthouse and just like what families need to know to get connected with Lighthouse. So here, I'll put the name of the school up, and I've also got the website ready. So
yes. So we are happy to give parents and families and children a tour. So they can call our main office, 210-236-7693, or through our website, they can also schedule a tour of the campus. And we love giving tours of our campus so that families can see what it would look like here. A lot of the day-to-day type stuff we post on our Facebook page, and that's at Lighthouse Public Schools SA. So you can find us on Facebook and you get to see the daily type of things that are happening here. Like we had our Seahawk make an appearance yesterday, our Seahawk mascot. And so we put a call to action out to help us name him or name her for our Seahawk. But that's usually where you see all the latest and greatest that's happening, is on Facebook. We are also there's a blog post for us in the enrollment guide here on SA Charter Moms. So we're on there as well. And then we have an upcoming interview with Inga on December 7th. So you can hear more about what we do as well.
That's right. Yes, we're updating the enrollment guide. We do that every year. We for all the schools we cover, we're going to update the enrollment guide. And then, December 7th is a special day when we feature Lighthouse Public Schools. So I'm really excited, Erica, to get to talk to you again. And then that episode will be like all about like the academic programs, and it's right. It's pre-K up through 10th grade now, and there's more high school grades coming, right?
Yeah. So we actually have added. So we say high school now because we started with 6 kids last year. So we had a handful of families that left us in 8th grade. We did a follow-up to see how they were doing. We had 6 that said, we really wish you would have high school. We miss y'all. We want to come back. It's not working where we're at right now. Talk to Dr. Mills. So when you say of just how amazing he is, he always tries to find a way to say yes for students. And the Monday after Thanksgiving, we started a 9th grade class with 6 students. This school year, we have increased to 60 students. So we started with 6, now we're up to 60, and that includes 11th grade. So soon we know that we're going to be having some seniors, and it's because we do something different. Our high school is small, but they're mighty. They're doing amazing things in there. And I think there's some really beautiful things that can happen when you keep your class sizes small and you have really passionate and dedicated adults in these student lives that they can make tremendous things happen.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, I'm looking forward to our Lighthouse conversation some more. Okay, so I'm gonna pop up the links again on the screen. So Learning Heroes on the web, it's balearninghero.org.
Yes.
Like Kelsey said, the website's bilingual. There's information on social media. You can get email updates. But the important thing is just keep going, because like whatever, keep visiting the site again, because whatever parents are needing at that phase of the year, they've got a new tool for it.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah, very easy to use. Yep, balearninghero.org.
Yep, and lighthousesa.org is how to reach Lighthouse Public Schools. And the reason we highlighted Lighthouse in this conversation was because of, as you can tell from what we've learned from Erica today, they're doing so much work on the relationship between families and the school. And I really wanted to highlight that because I felt like it added like, a local and real world dimension to, what Learning Heroes is presenting. But with using the tools from Learning Heroes, every parent can build that kind of relationship with their kids' teachers. And I think it's really important for having this year be as productive as possible, and also for doing like the kind of like self-care, like being kind to ourselves and kind to each other, kind to our kids' teachers, that we need this year. Okay,
Yes.
well, great. Well, thank you both so much for being part of this. I encourage everybody to click on the description of the video. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for having us. Bye, everyone. Have a great
Thank you.
Wednesday. Happy Thursday.
Thank you, Inga.
Bye.
Bye.